Taming a dangerous blaze. First tonight on Our News, live at 7, a massive fire destroys a Gladstone Road scrap metal yard, taking down buildings, cars, and power lines. Firefighters now in a race against time. Plus, will Haiti see a general election this November? Prime Minister Philip Davis doesn't think so, as the island's still battling violent gangs and a crippling political and economic crisis. Regional leaders in Barbados to tackle the issue. And how can you strengthen your cybersecurity game? Stakeholders gather at the inaugural Alive Cybersecurity Summit to share new trends and safeguards. Then in Our News at 7:30, putting pen to paper. Government and the African Export-Import Bank ink another agreement that makes way for $200 million in infrastructural financing. Our News, live at 7, starts right now. A massive blaze at a scrap metal yard on Gladstone Road is raging, and firefighters are in a race against time. The fire, burning for hours, has sent thick plumes of black smoke visible for miles, posing a serious threat to motorists on the busy stretch. Strong winds are complicating the battle, sending the flames into nearby power lines, trees, cars, and buildings. Crews now hard at work to protect neighboring homes and businesses. Welcome to Our News, live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Berthany McDermott, in for Candino Knowles. Fire officials responding to the blaze late Friday afternoon as windy conditions coupled with low water pressures in the area turned what they say was initially a small fire into the raging inferno you just saw. Our Joshua Williams was on the scene and filed this report.
Billows of smoke blanketing the blue western skies of New Providence Friday as a scrapyard on Gladstone Road fully engulfed in flames. Our News arrived on the scene around 3 p.m. only to meet thick black smoke covering the road, a structure right on the corner of the western entrance to Victoria Gardens community ablaze. As officers struggled to control the fire, traffic blocked off in both directions, making the situation more difficult. As the blaze burned, sounds of pops, bangs, and explosion could be heard coming from the property, the windy conditions sending the smoke far. Chief Fire Officer Superintendent Damaris Ambrister told Our News his team initially responded to a car fire near Honda Plus Auto Car and Repair, only to find the situation was much worse.
They would have met multiple vehicles engulfed in flames. Upon seeing this, additional 3 units would have been requested. At this time, what we can say is that it's believed that the fire would have started on the eastern end of this establishment. At this time, the cause of this fire is unknown.
Drone footage of the area showing the extent of the damage. Nearly 100 scrap cars appeared to be destroyed. Brian Richard Bethel is the owner. He says despite taking safety precautions for years, he had a bad feeling this day would come. Meanwhile, his residents have made calls for government to red zone scrap yards, moving them out of residential communities. Bethel shared his thoughts.
The government should have not put these houses in the backyard and stock. I always tell them that. Now they come and they take the road from us, they take all of this, they told me I have to put the gate to the side, and they put in double road. So what we supposed to do?
Now, we also spoke to a number of residents who live near this scrapyard. They say this smoke will affect them, but it's also the fact that a facility like this has been in their community for years.
You have, I think, easy car park, car place, then you have a new subdivision up the street there. You don't know where, the fire is going to end up. It will end up uncontrollable.
It is a lot of smoke, but it's a good thing it ain't blowing that way in the east. But this, in enough sense, I am glad that this happened. Just to get that body way shop to be closed down.
Fire officials say there were no injuries and that the fire should be totally extinguished by the end of the night. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. Amid the ongoing crisis in Haiti, Prime Minister Philip Davis telling reporters he believes it will be very challenging for an election to happen by November. His comments came on the sidelines of the 48th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government this week. Late last month, Haiti's Transitional Council President Leslie Voltaire said the election date was set for November 15th. Haiti has lacked elected representatives since January 2023 and has not held an election since 2006. The country's capital is almost entirely controlled by armed gangs, and regional leaders have maintained security must first be established to hold a free and fair vote. But Davis believes it won't be easy.
It's going to be very challenging for elections to be held in November. because of the continued deterioration of the security status in Haiti. It's very, very challenging. And even if we want to be able to bring some stability to the situation, there has to be some time. There has to be what they call a cooling off period. And that cooling off period is not going to be at least 6 months of cooling off period.
Government opened an embassy in the United Arab Emirates earlier this month, which will also serve as a center for relations with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. The embassy opening marks the culmination of a long process of establishing formal diplomatic relations between these countries. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell and Libra and the Public Service Minister Pia Glover-Roll were on hand for the opening, along with several other government officials and UAE Ambassador to the Bahamas, Tony Jowdy. Mitchell says the embassy will provide services to Bahamians in the region and foster stronger ties between the Bahamas and the Gulf region. Police are looking into a late-night shooting where a 19-year-old man was shot multiple times on Mantol Street in Montel Heights. This is the 12th homicide for the year, according to our news records. Police press liaison officer Chief Superintendent Sharia King telling us the victim was visiting a home in the area when this happened.
A light-colored Japanese vehicle pulled up, opened fire on the victim, fatally wounding him. We are asking, as we always do, if anyone in the general public has any information in reference to this matter, to please call us at 919-911 or CID at 502-9992.
Members of the community filled the road as crime scene investigators probed the scene. Yellow cones filled the streets where the incident happened, an indication of the number of gunshots fired in this incident. King is again urging Bahamians to find better ways to resolve their conflict.
There is always a way to resolve conflict, and so we're asking everyone to just find those resolutions in these matters and make certain that we come to such a resolution. We have to go back to the village mentality where we look out for our brothers and sisters.
Meanwhile, a 17-year-old is charged with murder after a man was shot and killed last year. Prosecutors say the teen is responsible for the murder of 23-year-old Miller Thedor. The charge stems from a shooting that took place at West Street and Dorset Alley on September 13, 2024. Theodore died in hospital on October 4th. The teen, whose name has been withheld, was not required to plead to the charge when he stood before Senior Magistrate Algernon Allen Jr. Bail was denied, and the teen returns to court on June 30th to receive a voluntary bill of indictment. This means the evidence against him will be presented and the case fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. The Insurance Commission of the Bahamas says they've begun issuing guidelines to the restraints and licensees on the Road Traffic Amendment Acts. Last month, the Commission announced plans to move forward with significant changes to the country's new vehicle insurance policy, which originally required drivers to insure their vehicles within their birth month. The initial changes to the traffic laws implemented in January also mandate that drivers must have vehicle insurance in place for a minimum of 6 months before renewing their licenses. Speaking of its Women in Leadership Conference, Superintendent Dana Munnings-Gray says the process began earlier this week.
Outlining what the amendment speaks to for the industry. We've also issued frequently asked questions. I think one thing that we can say is the government recognized that, requiring persons to insure within their birth month was becoming very cumbersome and also onerous, right? Is a financial burden to some extent. And so I think it was good to see that that particular section was relaxed until it's actually officially removed.
Police reported 11,157 road accidents in 2024. It's something to take note of, as insurance brokers say the majority of cars on the road do not have comprehensive insurance.
So when we look at it, I would say in most cases you would see third-party insurance. And then, of course, as you know, that only protects or only provides coverage for the car that is damaged. So not the one of the individual that holds it, but the third party. And so, yes, we do need to look at those forms of insurance as well.
Whether you're a business or individual who spends a lot of time on the internet, digital security has become more critical than ever. It's why the Cable Bahamas group of companies has taken a step forward in cybersecurity education with its inaugural summit. Hosted by Alive Business, the summit brought together key stakeholders, policymakers, and industry leaders to address growing cyber threats facing businesses and individuals alike. Delvardo Emmanuel has the details.
With over 300 attendees, the inaugural Cybersecurity Summit on Thursday convened experts from around the globe to discuss the pressing threats in the digital space. The one-day summit at Atlantis Resort, hosted by Alive Business, served as a wake-up call for companies and individuals to strengthen digital defenses across all sectors.
We started the day with some policymakers in the room, industry partners, whether they are vendors from the U.S. and abroad, as well as what we call local network engineers across our organizations, because we feel as Cable Bahamas, it is our duty to elevate the conversation and to lean in with our partners to help us navigate this issue of cybersecurity.
Cable Bahamas President and CEO is Franklin Butler. He says the summit also tackled practical strategies for businesses to protect themselves from cyber threats, especially during times of crisis such as hurricanes. Cable Bahamas Director of Information Security is Shakira Johnson.
Cyber threats are growing in complexity and increasingly coming closer and closer to our doorsteps. So if we do not take action now, we are risking our sustainability as a community, as a country, as organizations or businesses.
And that threat recently became real when the University of the Bahamas was hit by a ransom attack. In her keynote address, former U.S. National Cybersecurity Director Kemba Walden stressed the need for global partners to combat the threats. UB's recent attack a reminder that no system is entirely safe.
That when a school gets popped by a ransomware actor, that the school is only out for a day and not for months, so that the school can get back to the business that it relies on our secure internet for, and that's educating our kids. That's delivering for hospitals, delivering health care.
We follow the NIST framework in terms of our overall cyber posture. And these are well-recognized frameworks. These are globally recognized frameworks. And I will tell you that, listen, it is not good enough to say, listen, I'm going to have my server in my office. I'm not going to connect it to the internet. We're long past that stage of discussion.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
Thanks, Delvardo. It's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Berthany, and a happy Friday evening, everybody. Cloudy conditions around the islands today. We're looking for a lot of clouds to be moving across the area. That's all courtesy of a frontal boundary that is now in the central Bahamas, and that high pressure is bringing in some moisture off of the Atlantic with the cool air mass. So we're seeing those clouds. 69 degrees is our current temperature on the outside, mostly cloudy skies. It is on the breezy side. Your winds out of the northeast at 18 miles per hour, and they are gusting higher. Feels like temperature a very cool and comfortable 67 on the outside. Temperatures right now across the northwest Bahamas. We are sharing 64s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, as well as in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, 69 in Alistown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros here in the capital, as well as in Governor's Harbour, Luther, Great Harbour Key, 68 into the central Bahamas, 71 in Kemps Bay, also in Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, 73, 72 in Coburn Town, San Salvador, over in Deadman's Key, 74, and you have some showers nearby. That's basically where that frontal boundary is. 77 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, 75 Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, 76. More 77s popping up in Abrahams Bay, Megawana, Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands. Deep south in Matthewtown, Inagua, you have a temperature right now of 80 degrees. This is a setup right on satellite composite. A lot of moisture courtesy of that cooler air mass moving across the Atlantic, warmer waters, as well as the Gulf Stream. Frontal boundary hanging out near the Long Island, the Exuma area actually. It's going to continue to sag towards the south, should get into the southeast Bahamas late tonight and into tomorrow. But this high pressure will continue to produce some very strong winds, so we're looking at hazardous boating and beaching for at least 2 days before things start to settle down before Sunday. And then we expect another front by early next week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your weekend forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, Team Bahamas is one step closer to this summer's America, and we check in on some MLB spring training.
Alive? Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
JITG Music Fest. New edition. Tony Braxton. DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live. Starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man. Escape. Coco Jones. Kim. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest. March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.7 for your chance to win a trip to Jazz in the Gardens.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. The Bahamas senior men's national team knew that they were in a must-win situation, and in front of the home crowd, they took control of their own destiny. Team Bahamas defeated Cuba 97-74 last night at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium to open the third window of the AmeriCup qualifiers. Tavario Miller Sr. came out the gate strong, imposing his will against the Cuban front line. He scored a team-high 26 points on 80% shooting from the field and grabbed 8 rebounds. Also for Team Bahamas, Dominic Bridgewater scored 16, Sammy Hunter scored 14, Franco Miller Jr. had 12, while Garvin Clark Jr. had 10 points and 7 assists. It also was the first win for John Lucas III as the head coach of the national team. Game time is set for Sunday at 7:10 p.m. at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. General admission is $25, kids are $10, while participants with Hugh Campbell ID is $15. MLB teams have reported to their respective training camps, and several Bahamian players are expected to make their debuts this week. Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the defending AL champion New York Yankees are hosting spring training at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Sebastian Walcott was a non-roster invitee to the Texas Rangers spring training in Surprise, Arizona. Christian Robinson will make another appearance with the Arizona Diamondbacks with the big league club in spring training. And of course, your top 10 players of the week. That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world. As the Trump administration pushes for a bird flu vaccine amid what farmers say is a worsening outbreak and soaring prices. Plus, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson stands in shackles before a New York court. And the UN chief telling CARICOM heads his plan to request funding from member countries for a multinational force to Haiti. This as gangs still control parts of the country's capital. The story when our news returns.
each week we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
My name is Atrevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. U.S. farmers are battling what they say is a worsening bird flu outbreak as Trump administration officials push for bird vaccines instead of mass culling. Amid sweeping cuts to staffing and research at key agencies like the USDA and NIH, experts warn these moves could weaken the nation's pandemic defenses. Recent shifts in strategy include proposals for enhanced biosecurity and medication within the USDA already granting conditional approval for a new vaccine. However, many in the poultry industry remain skeptical, arguing that vaccinations may not fully replace culling. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson late last year, appeared in a New York City courtroom today in full security, with shackles and a bulletproof vest as he faces murder and terrorism charges. Mangione's lawyer argued for removing the restraints, highlighting his status as a model prisoner and the public nature of the trial, but the judge upheld the security measures. This as public protests continued outside the court. Prosecutors outlined plans to present extensive evidence, including DNA, body cam footage, and phone records, while objections arose over the pretrial motion schedule. Microsoft unveiled its new Majorana 1 chip on February 19, signaling that practical quantum computers could be just years and not decades away. Microsoft says the advancement could allow quantum systems to solve complex problems from drug discovery to material science, while also challenging today's cybersecurity. Built using a breakthrough material called a topoconductor, the chip promises to control qubits with fewer errors than current designs. Meta is set to build the world's longest undersea cable with its new project, Waterworth. Spanning 50,000 kilometers, Meta says the cable will connect the U.S., India, South Africa, Brazil, and other regions, boosting connectivity and supporting Meta's growing AI ambitions. The cable, using a high-capacity 24-fiber pair system, reportedly aims to drive digital inclusion and economic cooperation across 5 continents. Meta says it will use advanced burial techniques to protect the cable from hazards, avoid major geopolitical hotspots. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced in Barbados that he plans to ask the UN Security Council for UN funding to cover the cost of a multinational force in Haiti, currently struggling against violent gangs. The force, led by 800 Kenyan police along with troops from Jamaica, Guatemala, and El Salvador, is working with Haiti's national police to restore order. Guterres said if the Security Council accepts, we can finally have an effective force to defeat the gangs and create conditions for democracy. He said salaries would be paid from an existing trust fund. While critics warn of challenges ahead, the UN says it remains committed to supporting a political process that restores democratic institutions in Haiti. Still to come in our news, Today in History. Find out interesting facts about the day that was February 21st. And then in our news at 7:30, a $25,000 drug seizure in Grand Bahama lands 2 men in police custody. And becoming the hero in someone's story. The Cable Bahamas group of companies is making it easier for employees to donate blood. That's coming up when our news returns.
DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live, starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man, Escape, Coco Jones, Kim. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest, March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.7 for your chance to win a trip to Jazz in the Gardens.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me, Italia Hall, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring
Welcome back to Our News. On this day in Bahamian history, in 2001, Bahamian group Baha Men won the Best Dance Recording at the 43rd Grammy Awards for their hit Who Let the Dogs Out. In 2011, construction began on the $3.5 billion Bahama Resort on Cable Beach. February 21st, 2012 saw Frederick Green, also known as Frederick Neely, escape police custody while receiving medical care at the Princess Margaret Hospital. And on this day in 2014, the inaugural festival Rum Bahamas took place in Nassau, featuring a blend of local, regional, and international rum exhibitors. Well, to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, visit ournews.bs. That does it for Our News at 7. Joining us now is our Megan Shepherd with the latest. Megan.
Thank you so much, Berthany, and happy Friday to you. Coming up tonight at 7:30, a $25,000 drug seizure in Grand Bahama, plus how you can become the hero in someone's story. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight, a scrap metal yard on Gladstone Road up in flames for hours. Firefighters tackling the blaze late into the afternoon. Our Joshua Williams has the latest from the scene. Plus, up to $200 million now available for infrastructural work here at home, thanks to a newly inked agreement at the 48th CARICOM meeting in Barbados. And then, hurricane season may be months away, but as the old adage goes, it's better to be safe than to be sorry. Why insurers are urging residents to be proactive. And later, 242 Day celebrations kicking off early this year with a vibrant marketplace overflowing with Bahamian talent and all things 242. We'll tell you all about the cultural celebration and so much more when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Tourism today, Bahamas tourism today.
Hello everybody, we are The Essence Band.
And we're here today at the Sanctuary Studios recording our original song, Island Paradise, for the Ministry of Tourism. Let's go.
This island's paradise waits for you.
It is our very first official Essence song, and for it to be one that's attached to our country is an honor.
There is a different kind of realm that you enter when you create your own music.
It was inspired by everything that we found to be truly Bahamian.
A takeaway from this song would be, just a good vibe.
And we know that we wanted it to not just appeal to Bahamians, but also our potential visitors.
My favorite part has to be us exploring different tones.
The Junkanoo drums is something that is out front in this particular piece.
The elements that we put into the song, the goatskin drums, the cowbells, we wanted to also fuse it with a broader genre like the European pop that you would hear. That's what really inspired us to create the amalgamation that is Island Paradise.
The studio recording is very nerve-wracking, but we all decided that we're gonna have fun because it's for our country.
A lot of times bands don't get to do their first song on such a grand scale. So we're humbled to do that, and it's been a great time. We've been having fun, we've been kikiing.
So I do truly believe that we are a family and we like to operate as such.
It was a joy to find that we can write music and have fun while doing it. With this tourism is everyone's business competition, it was a very exciting thing to be a part of, and to win was even more exciting.
A massive blaze at a scrap metal yard on Gladstone Road is raging, and firefighters are in a race against time. The fire, burning for hours, has sent thick plumes of black smoke visible for miles, posing a serious threat to motorists on the busy stretch. Strong winds are complicating the battle, sending the flames into nearby power lines, trees, cars, and buildings. Crews now hard at work to protect neighboring homes and businesses. Welcome to Our News, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Fire officials responding to the blaze late Friday afternoon as windy conditions coupled with low water pressure in the area turned what they say was initially a small fire into a raging inferno you just saw. Our Joshua Williams was on the scene as firefighters fought the blaze.
Billows of smoke blanketing the blue western skies of New Providence Friday as a scrapyard on Gladstone Road fully engulfed in flames. Our News arrived on the scene around 3 p.m. only to meet thick black smoke covering the road, a structure right on the corner of the western entrance to Victoria Gardens community ablaze. As officers struggled to control the fire, traffic blocked off in both directions, making the situation more difficult. As the blaze burned, sounds of pops, bangs, and explosion could be heard coming from the property, the windy conditions sending the smoke far. Chief Fire Officer Superintendent Damaris Ambrister told Our News his team initially responded to a car fire near Honda Plus Auto Car and Repair, only to find the situation was much worse.
They would have met multiple vehicles engulfed in flames. Upon seeing this, additional 3 units would have been requested. At this time, what we can say is that it's believed that the fire would have started on the eastern end of this establishment. At this time, the cause of this fire is unknown.
Drone footage of the area showing the extent of the damage. Nearly 100 scrap cars appeared to be destroyed. Brian Richard Bethel is the owner. He says despite taking safety precautions for years, he had a bad feeling this day would come. Meanwhile, as residents have made calls for government to red zone scrap yards, moving them out of residential communities, Bethel shared his thoughts.
The government should have not put these houses in the backyard and start. I was telling them that. Now they come and they take the road from us, they take all of this, they told me I have to put the gate to the side, and they put in double road. So what we supposed to do?
Now, we also spoke to a number of residents who live near this scrapyard. They say this smoke will affect them, but it's also the fact that a facility like this has been in their community for years.
You have, I think, easy car park, car place, then you have a new subdivision of the street there. You don't know where, the fire is going to end up. It will end up uncontrollable.
It is a lot of smoke, but it's a good thing it ain't blowing that way in the east. But this, in enough sense, I am glad that this happened. Just to get the body way shop that be closed down.
Fire officials say there were no injuries and that the fire should be totally extinguished by the end of the night. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Joshua. Meantime, Prime Minister Philip Davis putting pen to paper, locking down an agreement with the African Export-Import Bank that will make up to $200 million available for infrastructure work here at home. The signing came during bilateral talks at the 48th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting currently underway in Barbados.
In the event we have the need for further infrastructure work, yes, the facility is available. I want to thank Professor Benedict Omeron for his continued support, not just of the Caribbean community, but the Bahamas in particular.
You may recall that Afrexim Bank held its annual board meeting in the Bahamas last June. At the time, the bank signed an agreement to develop and implement an Afro-Caribbean marketplace in Grand Bahama. Here's Afrexim Bank President and Chairman Benedict Orama.
This is building on the SME facility we provided through the Development Bank, and the work we are doing to support Bahamas, the Grand Bahamas, Grand Bahamas,
and the whole Bahamas.
To do to project preparation facility to construct a permanent exhibition facility in the island of Grand Bahamas.
All right, well, 2 men are in police custody tonight following a $25,000 drug seizure at a home on Allen Circle in Grand Bahama. We're told that just after 7 last night, drug enforcement officers executed a search warrant and found a quantity of suspected hydroponic marijuana. The men, ages 48 and 33, were arrested. The suspected drugs have an estimated weight of 12.5 pounds. Meantime, 2 men have denied causing the death of a 38-year-old American woman who was ran over by a boat while snorkeling at the Pink Sands Beach in Harbor Island. Boat captain Alden Fiery and Charles Reginald Cash, the boat's owner, are charged with manslaughter by negligence in the June 22, 2024 death of Allison Dyke. The men pleaded not guilty to a charge of manslaughter by negligence when they appeared before Justice Gregory Hilton. He will set a trial date on March 6. Well, it's better to be safe than sorry. That's the message coming from the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas as it relates to protecting your home and property. And as the hurricane season is just a few short months away, officials are encouraging you to straighten out those policies, as it's the only way to bounce back after disaster. Our Joshua Williams explains.
The seas behind me now may seem a bit choppy because of inclement weather. Can you imagine how conditions would be if a major hurricane comes here? Are you insured?
June 1st may seem far away, but insurance officials say now is the time to prepare for hurricane season. Over the years, storms of all categories have passed through our chain of islands, oftentimes leaving a path of destruction in its wake. Majority of these homes underinsured or not insured at all. And for Superintendent of the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, Dana Munnings-Gray, the threat of climate change means having insurance now is more important than ever.
We also live in a country where we are geographically located in the belts of the U.S. and other countries that face storms. Our reinsurers are looking for ways to de-risk. And so I say to people, if you have insurance, I know it's difficult to maintain, but it's a necessary evil in times, particularly when we are faced with climate change issues and risk.
But why are so many people hesitant to insure?
We find that people oftentimes look at the cost of insurance, and so they don't really look at the true value of their most valuable and prized possession, their homes. And so if a home is worth or valued at $500,000, they may get $300,000 in coverage, which means that if your house or your home is damaged beyond repair, you're not really getting the full value. And so that's what underinsurance is about. And the Insurance Commission is about ensuring that our consumers, our key stakeholders, are aware.
Hurricane Dorian comes to mind as the most devastating storm to hit our country. The Category 5 storm battered Grand Bahama and Abaco in 2019, claiming the lives of hundreds, some loved ones still missing to this day. Homes and businesses across the north were also left fully destroyed or badly damaged. Lisa Turnquest, an insurance professional in Grand Bahama, says insurance was the only way many people were able to get back on their feet.
Well, insurance has definitely been the bridge to get people back from devastation back to some degree of normalcy. Without it, a lot of persons would not have survived. I mean, the loss of life is one thing, but the loss of everything you've worked for is also a very, very serious matter. And insurance has enabled people to regroup and reset their lives.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Great advice. Thanks so much, Josh. Well, if you've been traversing the city of Freeport for the past 4 weeks, particularly at the junction of Beachway Drive and East Sunrise Highway, you've probably been frustrated by an out-of-service traffic light. Tonight, a top executive from the local Port Authority is asking the public for continued patience. He says what appeared to be just a routine maintenance turned out to be a little more serious.
We came in to repair the overhead wires for the lights, which is routine because of age and wear and tear. Once we replaced those, we realized we were experiencing additional faults or issues inside the box. I can inform you though, as of 2 days ago, we were able to diagnose what the issue is, and as a result, we've ordered the part, which we expect to be here early next week, which is basically for, I guess, the technocrats, it's a MMU, which is basically the brain of the box. As well as we needed to get the schematics for the wiring in the box so that we could complete and solve the issue. And so we asking motorists to be a little more patient with us.
Deputy Director and City Manager at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Troy McIntosh, recommends avoiding the area if you're uncomfortable with using a four-way stop. And he's also sharing this reminder.
First come, first serve. All motorists know once you come to a junction that has a four-way stop sign that you should pause, look at who came first, and move accordingly. Unfortunately, we've noticed that that has not been the case to what appears to be on impatient drivers, but we ask drivers to please be courteous, be kind to the other motorists so that all can get to their destination safely.
As for when the traffic lights will be fully functioning,
these are man-made equipment. We have diagnosed that it's two issues. One, a part requires, and then wiring. And so those are very simple issues. Once the part comes in, we put the part in and hopefully nothing else shows up. But we are hoping in a very short time, by mid next week, the part should be here. And then the technician will come shortly thereafter, a day thereafter, to make sure that we can get back into the box and solve the issue.
A technician travels from the capital on a monthly basis to carry out scheduled maintenance. But McIntosh says they are open to training young Grand Bahamians looking to join their team. Well, key issues impacting women across the country will be discussed during the National Women's Advisory Council's one-day National Women's Symposium scheduled for tomorrow at Bahamas Harvest Church. The symposium is a collaboration between the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, its Department of Gender and Family Affairs, and the National Women's Advisory Council. Saturday's symposium is expected to be the first in a continuance of the Council's efforts to address social, legal, and other matters affecting and impacting women nationwide. The ultimate goal is to develop a national roadmap. Now, the Council is an appointed body that was established to advance women affairs and social matters. Council members and its subcommittees all serve on a voluntary basis. All right, we still got lots more to share tonight, but now it's time for your first look at temperatures with meteorologist Greg Thompson. Greg, how's it looking?
Yeah, thanks, Megan, and a happy Friday evening, everybody. Cloudy conditions around the islands today. We have a frontal boundary now in the central Bahamas, high pressure building behind that, bringing in some Atlantic moisture, so that's why we have all those clouds out there. 69 degrees is our current temperature on the outside under mostly cloudy skies, and it is breezy. Winds out of the northeast at 18 miles per hour, and it is gusting high at times. But it's a very comfortable 67 is what it feels like on the outside. Satellite radar composite, a lot of moisture associated with that. High pressure, as I mentioned, bringing that cool air mass across the Atlantic waters, picking up some of that moisture. Frontal boundary now near the Long Island area. We'll continue to side towards the southeast, should be moving into the southeast Bahamas by tonight and into tomorrow. But the high pressure behind that is going to produce some hazardous beaching and boating conditions for the weekend. So we're asking you boaters and you beachgoers to stay out of the waters during that time frame. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. Look at your extended forecast. It's still to come.
Still to come on our news, Cable Bahamas group of companies teams up with Doctors Hospital for a life-saving initiative. We'll tell you how employees stepped up to give the gift of life. Plus, bringing together the best women in the industry. The Insurance Commission hosting a Women in Leadership conference this morning. Find out the power of putting people first when our news returns.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. Internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Cable Bahamas group of companies partnering with the Doctors Hospital today to assist with filling the dire need for blood. The company hosting a blood drive at our Soldier Road office, making it easy for employees to stop by and donate the gift of life. Our news digital reporter, Kirkwood Clark, also taking part in the initiative. Phlebotomy and customer service supervisor Cutel Taylor explains the importance of donating blood.
We know that blood donation is critical in the Bahamas because blood actually has a shelf life of 35 days. So it's imperative that the Bahamian people make it their civic duty in a normal routine to come in and donate blood on a regular basis.
Taylor is appealing to all Bahamians to become a hero in someone's story by giving blood. Their blood bank is open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. throughout the week and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. We caught up with a couple of Cable Bahamas employees just after they gave blood, both describing the process as quick and easy, and they share why they chose to give back in this way.
One day I may need blood, and then I also learned that 1 point of blood can actually save 3 lives. So each one, reach one.
It was important for me just to give back to the community because I know a lot of people do need and search for blood, so I just wanted to make a good impact into the community.
Shattering the glass ceiling, lifting the insurance industry. That was the focus at the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas Women in Leadership Conference held this morning, bringing the best women in the field together to collaborate and share ideas while reminding themselves of the important roles they play in the field. One of the keynote speakers, Lisa Turnquest.
My topic for today is people before policies, and so I think that women bring a certain degree of empathy and a certain degree of compassion to any business that we're involved in, and certainly the insurance industry needs that. It's usually around the policies and the programs and the money, the financial part of insurance. So I think women in insurance have brought a lot of empathy and compassion to the industry.
Kim Anderson came all the way from South Africa, where she serves as a global business consultant with the World Bank. She says in her work across the region, she's impressed with our economy and the way commerce is carried out in the Bahamas.
I do quite a lot of business in Central America and the Caribbean, and every country is so different. Every economy is absolutely different. This is my first time to the Bahamas, and I will tell you that I'm absolutely impressed by the way that people do business here. You mean business and you do business, and that's been phenomenal.
Coming up in sports, Team Bahamas takes down Cuba, MLB spring training has a Bahamian flair, and of course, your top plays of the week.
At Cartwright.
Once I had a girl, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took a trip to Cowboy Town.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola is ready to give you a summer of fun with over $20,000 in cash and prizes. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a medium or a large, or purchase a large salad with a Coke for a chance to win amazing prizes like a 50-inch TV and soundbar, a staycation at Comfort Suites, or a $3,000 Going Places travel voucher. Enter online at Wendy's Bahamas Facebook page for a chance to win.
Are you or a loved one under...
Welcome to Our Sports presented by 10th year seniors. I'm John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. The Bahamas senior men's national team knew that they were in a must-win situation, and in front of the home crowd, they took control of their own destiny. Team Bahamas defeated Cuba 97-74 last night at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium to open the third window of the AmeriCup qualifiers. Tavario Miller Sr. came out the gate strong, imposing his will against the Cuban front line. He scored a team-high 26 points on 80% shooting from the field and grabbed 8 rebounds.
I mean, it's big playing home. It's a special moment, especially being from Long Island, just trying to come out here and show, for the family islands, represent for the family islands as well as the Bahamas, just that it's possible.
Also for Team Bahamas, Dominic Bridgewater scored 16, Sammy Hunter scored 14, Franco Miller Jr. had 12, while Garvin Clark Jr. had 10 points and 7 assists. Team Bahamas takes on Team USA, the #1 ranked team in the world, on Sunday, and with it being the last home game of the qualifiers, Miller Sr. knows that the fans bring them that extra energy to get over the hump.
Oh, we definitely need the fans to come. It's a big opportunity for us. For the kids, they get to come out. Some of these guys are former NBA players or G League players, great college players. They're trying to get back to the NBA, but it's a great opportunity.
It also was the first win for John Lucas III as the head coach of the national team.
I got to tip my hat out to the players. They came out here and they played their butts off. They represented Bahamas to the fullest in this game, and they understood what it was to take and how we wanted to respond. We got to take care of our house, and that's all we kept preaching the last 3 days when we all got together.
Game time is set for Sunday at 7:10 p.m. at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. General admission is $25. Kids are $10, while participants with Hugh Campbell ID is $15. MLB teams have reported to their respective training camps, and several Bahamian players are expected to make their debuts this week. Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the defending AL champion New York Yankees are hosting spring training at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Yankees manager Aaron Boone says he plans to slot Chisholm Jr. into the Yankees lineup at second base, the position where he earned an All-Star selection in 2022. Sebastian Walcott was a non-roster invitee to the Texas Rangers spring training in Surprise, Arizona. Walcott, who ended last season in AA, is the top prospect in the Rangers organization and ranked number 17 by MLB Pipeline. Christian Robinson will make another appearance with the Arizona Diamondbacks with the big league club in spring training. It's Friday, Team Bahamas took care of business against Cuba, but it's time for the real highlights of the day, your 10YS top plays. At number 5, we start off with the future lottery pick, VJ Edgecombe, with the silky smooth moves and the finish. At number 4, Sammy Hunter loves the 3-point shot, but he showed that sneaky athletic ability to get his own rebound and throw it down with authority. At number 3, Lamar Taylor is a part of a new NCAA record in the 200 free relay. He became the first person in NCAA history to own records at the Division I and Division II levels. At number 2, Kenny Isno puts an exclamation mark on Cuba. These rims at Kendall are too hard to bring down, but he tried. At number 1, Tajanique Morley triple teamed on the inbound play. No problem. Gets the ball in play, takes it all the way to the house for a game winner. That'll do it for our sports. Thank God it's Friday. Getting kind of tired doing this by myself. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, supporting homegrown talent and handcrafted Bahamian products. 242-day celebrations officially kick off today with a vibrant shopping experience. Plus, it's officially the weekend and temperatures are already shifting. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back in the weather center with everything you can expect weather-wise over the coming days. That's coming up when our news returns.
You or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Diet-friendly special.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Strucum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckham, #1 in pest control services.
Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live, starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man, Escape, Coco Jones, Kim. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest, March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.7 for your chance to win a trip to Jazz in the Gardens.
This is our news. Welcome back. Frontal boundary now pushing into the southeast Bahamas. A lot of clouds behind that, courtesy of a ridge of high pressure that's bringing in some Atlantic moisture across us. That front has a few isolated showers along its boundary, so Long Island, the Exumas, as well as the Ragged Island chain could be seeing some of those showers. Eventually should be moving into the Acklands and Crooked Islands late tonight. That high pressure system will continue to produce some very hazardous beaching and boating conditions out there, so we're asking you boaters to exercise extreme caution. As a matter of fact, we have an advisory posted, and we are urging you, if you really don't have to get into the waters, please do not. Also, the beachgoers, we're asking you to do much the same. Future forecast showing the moisture associated with that frontal boundary lagging near the central Bahamas, dropping into the southeast Bahamas late tonight and into tomorrow. And then we have some moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's all ahead of a frontal boundary and a low pressure system. That's going to be taking shape over the course of the next couple of days. That should drag a frontal boundary into our area by Monday time frame. So we're looking at some more showers. And I think we're going to get a little more showers out of this than we got into the frontal boundary that pushed through us over the last couple of hours. Boating forecast for all areas, small craft advisory in place, high risk of rip currents. Urging you boaters to stay out of the waters, beachgoers not to get out there to do any swimming. Northeast to east winds at 15 to 25 knots. Seas are very rough, 5 to 8 feet over the ocean, and they will be in some northeasterly swells. Low tide is at 8 tonight. High tide takes place at 2:41 tomorrow morning. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, the thinking is some clouds will be with us tomorrow as that frontal boundary continues to sag towards the southeast. The Atlantic moisture will be moving across us. We get a little bit of a break on Sunday, but that's all ahead of another frontal boundary that's expected to get in here by Monday time frame. That should introduce some showers and thunderstorms, possibly even some thunderstorms across the extreme northern islands. And that should take us through Tuesday. Temperatures will be back into the 80s by the middle of next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks so much, Greg. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, kicking off 2 for 2 day celebrations early, hosting a vibrant marketplace featuring Bahamian-made products at their headquarters. The event bringing together local entrepreneurs, selling everything from handcrafts to traditional Bahamian treats. Fashion Cultural Officer at the Ministry of Culture, Anya Bo, says the event was organized to give Bahamians a chance to showcase and purchase locally made items ahead of the national celebration.
We have to remind people all the time to buy Bahamian, okay? Bahamians love to spend their money on a Marc Jacobs bag or something like that, and we have that same standard of talented Bahamian entrepreneurs who are producing like beautiful, wonderful, like quality products, right? And so we need to start looking within and start purchasing Bahamian rather than supporting all these, other companies.
The event featured an array of Bahamian goods, from handcrafted bags and body scrubs to candles and a delicious selection of traditional dishes and desserts. Owners of The Goat, specializing in all things goat pepper, and Dean's Collection, showcasing all things Bahamas, shared their excitement about participating in the event.
I wanted to do something that was uniquely ours because I noticed like a lot of us is kind of dying away. So, and even in terms of our peppers, so The Goat, with doing some research on the peppers once I got started in the business, I recognized that goat pepper, unless you live in the Bahamas, you can't find it anywhere. So it's really unique to just the Bahamas.
Everything is handmade. Every item is handmade. And I try to use as much of the Bahamian fabric printed in the Bahamas or for the Bahamas, to keep it as cultural as I can.
Looks like an awesome initiative. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button if you'd like to see more content like this. Follow all of the Our News social media pages so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.